We're going to make a pizza in Adobe Illustrator. You'll be learning how to create a custom brush so that you can put all your toppings on your pizza. So let's start by just go to File and New and create a new document. I've got myself a square canvas, doesn't really matter what you use. We're going to start by grabbing the ellipse tool, holding down Shift and dragging out an ellipse shape. So give this one a goldy brown colour. Then we're going to go Command C to copy that shape and Command or Control F to paste it in the front. I'm going to reduce the size of that slightly. This is to make my crust. And then I'm going to select both shapes by holding down Shift, go to my Align panel, make sure in Align to it's aligned to Selection and not to Artboard, and click on Horizontal Align Center and Vertical Align Center. Now we're going to give that one a lighter brown. Whoops. We're going to give that one a lighter brown fill. Grab your ellipse tool again. Hold down Shift to create a perfect circle. This is going to be our tomato sauce layer. Now I want to blend these two together, but to do that I want to get rid of this middle section. So select all of your shapes and line them up. Then with all of your shapes selected, grab your shape builder tool. Oops. And just click in the middle. Now you will notice when you shift that sauce layer off, there's a hole in the middle. Now I'm going to select those two crust pieces and go Object, Blend, Blend Options, and you can set yours to Smooth Color. Now go Object, Blend, Make, and that will blend together so it just looks a little more three-dimensional. We'll make the cheese now. So click and drag out another circle and give it a pale yellow fill. Right. Okay, select your cheese and go to Effect, Distort and Transform and Roughen. Check the preview box so you can see what you're doing, and we're going to select Smooth and just play around with the size and the detail until you're happy with how it looks. So I'm going with 2% and 5-inch detail and click OK. Now I'm going to go to Object and Expand Appearance to turn the cheese into a shape. Might make it a fraction bigger as well. Okay, now I'm going to definitely group all of those layers together. So go Object, Group, or Command or Control G. Okay, now we are going to make our toppings. So first I'm going to start with some pepperoni. To do that, grab your ellipse tool, click and drag out a circle. Hold down Shift to make it a perfect circle. Okay, now we're going to create our first little custom brush. So I'm going to click and drag out a small circle. This is just a very basic brush. And give it a slightly pinker tone and reduce the opacity of it a little. So now we are going to create a custom brush using this little circle. So we're going to click and drag the circle into your brushes panel. Go to Window and Brushes if the panel isn't already there, and click and drag that in. You're going to select Scatter Brush, and with size we're going to choose Random and change it so it will be randomly between 100% of the original size or 40-ish% of the original size. Now grab your paintbrush, just deselect everything first, grab your paintbrush and swap your stroke and fill around so that you've got no fill and just a stroke outline. Now we're just going to randomly click on our piece of pepperoni. And now we've got a piece of pepperoni with random sized spots on it. Okay, now because you've used a brush stroke, these are like little brush strokes. So if you resize this, they're gonna warp. We want to turn these things into a proper shape so that we can resize them and they won't warp. So we'll go to Object and Expand Appearance to do that. Now the circles are actual circles again and not little brush strokes. Okay, so let's put this on our pizza. We'll group that together first. Let's line it up and pop it in the middle. Now we want them to be evenly spaced all the way around. So to do that, I'm going to grab the Rotate tool. You can hit R on your keyboard to bring that up. And hover if your smart guides are on. If not, you can go Command or Control U to bring them up. But we're going to hover that Rotate tool in the center of our pizza. Hold down the Alt key or Option key and click, and this box will pop up. We're going to rotate it at a 45-degree angle, and then we're going to click Copy, and then we're going to go Command or Control D to repeat that action all the way around the pizza. Now they are perfectly spaced. Okay, good. Now we are going to create a little bit of pineapple to put on our pizza, a controversial pizza topping choice, I know. We are going to grab our rectangle tool and click and drag out a little rectangle. Give it a pineapple-y colour. Grab your direct selection tool. You can hit A on your keyboard to bring that up. And we're going to click on that anchor point and then see the little circle in there. We're going to drag it in to about, let's say 45 centimeters. Just make a note of what number it is so that you can do the same on the other side. And then we'll click on that anchor point and extend it out. And this one too. Okay. Now we are going to select that shape and get our pencil tool. Make sure that shape's selected. And then with your pencil tool, you're just going to draw along the path first. And we're altering the shape with the pencil tool, making these little ridges. And if they are looking a bit dodgy, you can always tidy them up with the pencil tool. You just need to make sure that you draw along the path and finish along the path. Okay, that looks fine. Now we're going to get our ellipse tool and click and drag out a long skinny ellipse shape, make it slightly darker. Select your shape, grab your direct selection tool, click on the top anchor point and go convert, and click on the bottom anchor point and go convert, so they're pointy at the end. And then we're going to grab that shape and drag it into our brushes panel. This time we're going to select Art Brush. Deselect everything, grab your brush tool and swap around, make sure no stroke, no fill rather, just a stroke outline. Now we're just going to paint on these little stripes, so it's painting the shape on. It's just a little bit easier than copying and pasting all those shapes. And again, make sure you expand the appearance, and we'll group that together too. We're going to click and drag our pineapple into our brushes, select Scatter Brush. We'll keep the size the same, but the rotation, we'll select random for rotation. And now with your brush tool, make sure you got some sort of stroke outline, we are going to put some pineapple on the pizza. I like lots of pineapple on my pizza. There you go. Alright, we might just, while we're going, we'll expand the appearance of those so they become shapes instead of brush strokes. Okay, next up we'll do something nice and easy. We'll put some olives on. So we need to grab our ellipse tool and hold down Shift, drag out the circle, give it an olive colour, and then in the middle of that shape, drag out another circle. Just give it a different colour for now so you can see what it is. Select both those shapes by holding down Shift, and then in your Align panel just horizontally and vertically align them so that they're centered. And now with both of those shapes selected, grab your Shape Builder tool and click on the middle shape. This way we can delete it off and there's a hole in the outer shape. Grab your Brushes panel, click and drag it in and select Scatter Brush. We won't worry about rotation or size or anything, olives are pretty much the same size, and if you rotate a circle it's going to look the same, isn't it? So we're going to grab our paintbrush, make sure we've got the stroke outline, not the fill, and pop some olives on. Okay, next topping. Let's do the ham, because that's also pretty easy. I'll leave the tricky ones for last. So we're just going to hold down Shift on your keyboard so that you can create a perfect square. Give it a pinky colour. And then you can use your direct selection tool. Oops. to shift those anchor points out a bit. Okay, select that, go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel, and check the preview box. Now with your extrude depth, we want it about, let's see, 25? 24? 24 maybe. You can play around with the rotation there. We're going to select more options, so play around with how it rotates and everything, then you can just see what it does. We are going to, with shading color, select Custom and then grab a hammy kind of shade. There we go. And go Object and Expand Appearance. I'm gonna zoom out. My computer's running very slow. Click and drag that into your brushes. Use Scatter Brush. We will change the rotation on this one, so we'll select Random. We'll play around with the rotation. Grab your brush, just a stroke outline, and pop your ham on your pizza. Alright, now for the tomatoes. Grab your ellipse tool, drag out an ellipse shape and give it a tomato color. Get your direct selection tool and click on that top anchor point. Now see there's a handle here extending out. We're going to hold down the Alt or Option key and now click and drag that handle upwards. And do the same on the other side. So click on that end handle, hold down the Alt or Option key and just drag it upright like that. Now you can play around with creating that sort of a shape. So I'm just using the direct selection tool, clicking on the anchor point to activate it before playing around with it. So might want to make that a little bit better. And shorten handles as well. Just have a bit of a play around with it until you get the right shape. When you're happy with it, go back to your selection tool, so hit V on your keyboard, go Command or Control C to copy the shape and Command F or Control F to paste it in the front. So we're going to give that one a slightly lighter colour. Select both of those shapes and just make sure they're lined up in your Align panel. I'm going to get my direct selection tool, so hit A on your keyboard and just play around with that shape too. Okay, I'm going to grab my ellipse tool now. Give that one a darker shade. Hit A on my keyboard, my direct selection tool, click on that anchor point and again do the same thing. So hold down your Alt or your Option key and drag those handles outwards like that. Create like little kidney shapes. And I'm happy with that kidney. I'm going to go Object, Transform, Reflect. Make sure vertical is checked and then go Copy. And drag out my little copy. Okay, this is a fairly organic shape, so I'm just going to use the pencil tool to create that. So I'm going to make a, I don't know, whatever shape that is. There we go, that's alright. If you're not happy with it, you can always go back to your pencil tool and redraw the lines. Just make sure you're starting on the path and finishing on the path. Okay, grab my ellipse tool, click and drag. I'm going to create that little white part now. So go to your direct selection tool, click the top anchor point and click on convert. Make that a white colour. And I'm going to send that behind this layer here. So to send things backwards, go Command and or Control left square bracket. So now that one's sitting behind there. Now to make the seeds, I'll just grab a little ellipse shape, give it a yellow colour. Go to my direct selection tool, or click A on your keyboard, click on the bottom anchor point, go convert. I might drag that one out a little bit. Okay, so with that shape selected, we're going to try the rotate tool trick again. I'm going to position it so, imagine there's a circle there. This might be a bit of trial and error. I'm going to hold down my Option key and click. Let's set this rotation at a 30-degree angle and go copy, and now go Command D all the way around. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to select all of those seeds and go Command G to group them, then Object, Transform, Reflect, Copy. Drag that out so they're sitting on the other half. And then if you've got seeds that are overhanging, you can always ungroup and adjust. Now for that top part, we're going to get the rectangle tool, give it a green colour, click on, with your direct selection tool, click on the top anchor point and drag that little yellow, sorry not yellow, it's white, drag that white guy down, click on the other side, drag that guy down. And with these ones I'm just going to bring them in. Now I've got that shape. I'm going to send that backwards, so go Command and left square bracket until it's sitting behind your tomato. I'm going to group all of those bits together, and then, how big is that? That's fine. I'm going to pop it into my brushes panel, create a new scatter brush. The size can be a bit more random, so maybe they can go from being 80% of the original size to around 100 and that'll do. And the rotation is also going to be random. Grab your brush tool and pop your tomatoes on. Alright, last but not least is the capsicum. I hate capsicum on my pizza, I really do, but it's just, I don't know, it's pretty to have a bit of green on there, I suppose. So with the capsicum we are going to create a curved shape using the curvature tool. So I've just curved around like that. Now I want to come out at an angle, so I'm going to double click on that. And double click again. So I've got a shape like that. You can always play around with where your anchor points are sitting. I'm going to give that one a dark green colour. Okay. I will get my square shape. Drag out a square, make it a lighter green colour. And then with your direct selection tool, so hit A on your keyboard, I'm going to play around with where those are sitting, sort of giving it a 3D look. Now just making sure these are overlapping, I'm just going to create a random round curvy shape. And then just shift the anchor points so that they are overlapping. This will make sense in a second. Okay, so it's overlapping with this bit and it's overlapping with this bit. So with all of those shapes selected, grab your shape builder tool and now you can click there and this bit has become its own shape. And click in the other overlapping bits, then we can delete those bits off that we don't want. Okay, now we're going to get the pencil tool and just draw a random shape along here just to add a little bit of tone. This square shape, sorry, and the pencil tool shape you just drew. Grab your shape builder tool, so go Shift and M to bring that up and click in that bit there. We're going to delete off the overhanging bit and give that one a lighter colour. Now select your top bit. We're going to give that one a darker stroke outline. There we go. We might, I've just went Command and left square bracket to send that one behind. So we're going to go Object and Expand, and that will make sure that stroke outline has been expanded. Sometimes you need to do it twice. And now we're going to group that together. Go to Window and Brushes and click and drag that into your Brushes panel. Select Scatter Brush again. We're going to play around with a random size and random rotation again. And grab your brush tool, make sure you get the stroke selected. There we go. It's nice having a bit of colour on the pizza. Okay, I think our pizza is done. I'll shift these guys away. I can just delete them actually. Don't need them anymore. We are going to go select everything and go Object and Expand Appearance, just so we can resize and our brush strokes don't go blobby, and then we'll group that all together. We're going to slice our pizza, so grab your pen tool, hover your pen tool in the middle of the pizza, go down to the center, okay, delete off that excess bit, select your pizza shape. You're going to make sure it's got no fill and just a stroke outline. So double click on that, make it a dark browny colour, and then change the stroke weight. So you can do that in your stroke panel, which is window and stroke. Otherwise it might just be here. I've made that about 4. Then get your rotate tool with that pizza shape selected. Hover your rotate tool in the center of the pizza and hold down your Alt or Option key and click. Now we're going to rotate that at a 45-degree angle, go copy and then Command D all the way around. And now your pizza is all cut up and ready to eat. We are going to put it on a tablecloth because it is now a gourmet pizza. So we'll go Object and Expand to expand that little the stroke here that we just made. And then we can reduce, no. We have to group everything first. We'll reduce the size of that slightly. Grab your ellipse shape and drag out an ellipse. Perfect circle. We'll give it a white colour and we'll go Command and left square bracket to send it behind the pizza. That's the plate. And let's just make sure those are lined up. Alright, and now we are going to grab our rectangle tool and drag out a tablecloth. We're going to make a pattern for our tablecloth. So I'll colour it that colour for the minute and send it behind everything. Using your rectangle tool, you're going to click and drag out a perfect square, so hold down Shift to do that. We'll make that one light red. Hold down your Alt or Option key to drag out a copy and just hold down Shift to make sure they're perfectly in line. That one can be red. So hold Alt or Option and Shift to drag out a copy. That can be white. This one can be dark red. Select those 4 and go to Object, Pattern and Make. and it has made a tablecloth pattern. You just need to make sure that the grid pattern type is selected, but that one comes up as a default. So check on save a copy. We're going to call it tablecloth. Click OK, and then done. Now select that rectangle and click on the tablecloth pattern you just made in your swatches panel, and we have automatically got a beautiful tablecloth. Now to make it look a little bit more realistic, we are going to add a drop shadow to the plate. So select your plate, go to Effect, Stylize and Drop Shadow. Check the preview box so you can see what you're doing. And I am going to send mine out to about maybe a little bit more than that. So my X offset I've got at 0.7 centimeters. My Y I've got at 0.5. You can just play around with it though until you're happy. That's fine. Now I'll select my pizza and I'll do the same. So go to Effect, Stylize and Drop Shadow. Check the preview box so you can see what it looks like. And click OK when you're done. There you go, you have a pizza.